You may not be saying no because you may feel like it will be too difficult to express yourself or to let someone down. But by saying yes, you are letting yourself down. Yeah, I know that hurts to hear. By saying yes, you're letting yourself down because you really didn't want to do it. So don't let yourself down and instead prep for how you will say no. Welcome to You Belong in the C-Suite podcast. You are ambitious in life and in your career, but something is missing. You want to bring more of your passion to what you do. Because let's be honest, you pour a ton into your work, and it needs to mean more. I'm your host, Laura Eigel. I'm a mom, wife, PhD, coach, advocate, introvert, and indoor rowing fanatic. I'm passionate about living a life that's in line with my values. We'll give you the actionable tips and tools you need to lead with your values, make a difference, and have career success. The world needs more diversity and authenticity in the top jobs at organizations. Your leadership belongs there. You belong in the C-suite. What gets you up in the morning? What drives your decisions? What do you stand for? No idea, not even sure where to start? I use my values to guide my life and career. It's the basis of how I've built boundaries for myself and stuck to them. Are you ready to dig into what matters to you? Go to thecatchgroup.com to download your free values worksheet. That's thecatchgroup.com to download your free values worksheet to get to your core values and take action on what matters most. Welcome to this week's episode of the You Belong in the C-Suite podcast. We are at the end of October, going into November, getting into the middle of Q4. And this month, I really want to help you focus on not adding anything else to your plate. If you haven't listened to episode 175, start your end of year wind down now, not in December, please go listen to that episode first. The short summary of that episode is that as we get to the end of the year, usually it is a big increase in work before we get that little bit of a respite at the end of the year near the holidays. So instead of adding more stuff to your already full plate in that final rush of the end of the year, I am urging you to start your year-end slowdown even sooner than usual. Instead of tackling that project that you haven't gotten to, add it to the queue for 2025 instead. Instead of pushing for the rollout of that training to the whole company, add it to Q1. Instead of working every last day you can to get everything over the finish line, make sure that you are pacing yourself and schedule your vacation. This week's episode is in line with that year-end wind down. We are about to be in November, so let's continue the wind down by saying no. If you haven't already, you are about to be hit with all of the holiday invitations, the year-end parties, all of the things and obligations some of you may love, or like me and my introverted self, you may not love so much. November starts with 2 letters, N-O. So let's start using that little word, no, more this month and into the end of the year, and really into next year too. This topic is very much tied to why it is so hard to build and keep boundaries. Often saying no more is a boundary that many leaders have a hard time doing. So why do we say yes to everything? Well, because you may be an overachiever. You may have underestimated what is on your plate. You may actually want to do it, but you really don't have time to give it your best effort. And some of your effort might be better than none of your effort, you may think. You have guilt for not doing it, for whatever the reason. And there's lots of guilt that comes from so many places. Usually for me, because I can't be everything to all the people and the things that I care about. So I say yes, and I take on too much. So in November, let's support each other to say no more. While this is a hot topic on all things work and saying no, this time of year is ripe with asks from lots of other aspects of your life. School, friends, family, you name it. Because the holidays are coming up, and can't you just do this one thing for this very important topic or cause? So here are a few things that I want you to pay attention to, not if, but when something else comes across your email that is asking you for your time, attention, or investment of something that you just don't have to give. Sometimes for me, I just don't want to give my energy to talking about a topic because it's draining to me. But often I'm still super polite and I still engage in the topic of conversation, even when I know I should have said no. How would it feel to go into every job opportunity or boardroom without hesitation because you have a clear value system that guides you? How would it feel to have renewed energy and focus to put your skill set to work by stepping out of things that are not meant for you and actually prioritizing your own needs, reaching that career milestone that you want, and establishing the legacy that you know you're here to leave with your authentic leadership? You belong in the C-suite, and it's time that you start believing it. The world needs more diversity and authenticity in the top jobs at organizations. You are ready. You have what it takes to get there. And I'm going to show you the skills that it takes to thrive there. Learn more at thecatchgroup.com/group coaching. That's thecatchgroup.com/group coaching. So here are 3 questions to ask yourself or to reflect on when somebody does ask. Number 1, is it yours to do? Someone may be asking you because you used to do it in the past, but really it isn't your role anymore or yours to do it. Saying no clarifies for the person whose responsibility it really is. And that can be helpful for all parties. Question number 2, could someone else benefit from doing it? Maybe it's an opportunity for somebody to learn or provide their insight or expertise. Listen to episode 176, Protect Your Time, Empower Your Team. This episode is from just a few weeks ago to learn more about why you may be holding on to work that isn't yours or signing up for it to the detriment of your own team's development and career progression. Saying no to the work gives someone else an opportunity that could be a really great yes for them. And the third question, do you want to do it? Yeah, it could be that simple. Do you want to do that thing? And you usually know the answer here. If you aren't sure, believe me, you really don't want to. And guess what? You don't have to. I know you want to be the person that's able to say no, but how can you be that person? Let me give you a few tips. So you've gone through the reflection questions, you know that it isn't yours to do or that someone else could benefit from it, and you really know that you don't want to do it. How can you actually say no to someone? To someone you most likely care about in some capacity, either because they are a colleague at work or even a close friend. Here's some advice from Liz Fosseline, a guest from episode 101, Big Feelings. She's a best-selling author and illustrator of Big Feelings. And in this clip, we talked about burnout, and she shared a way that she says no.
So I used to have, and I actually still have this, but this was even pre-becoming a mom, I would put rules in place. And I find people take rules less personally. If it's just a rule for you, it's easier. You just sort of automatically say the rule as opposed to thinking through like, wow, can I like restructure my entire calendar to fit this one more thing in? So one rule was there was one weekend day when I didn't do anything. And so if someone invited me to something, I'd be like, I just have this rule. It's nothing to do with you. Would love to meet up another time. And it was so valuable to me for both myself and them. They would take it less personally.
I love this learning from Liz. What rules do you already have, or what rule do you need to create to enable you to say no more? I find it helpful to prep for difficult conversations. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips on how to do that. You may not be saying no because you may feel like it will be too difficult to express yourself or to let someone down. But by saying yes, you are letting yourself down. Yeah, I know that hurts to hear. By saying yes, you're letting yourself down because you really didn't want to do it. So don't let yourself down and instead prep for how you will say no. Here are a few ways to say no at work. I won't be able to attend because of a prior commitment, but I am available on XYZ day. I'm unavailable at that time, but XYZ from the team would be a great resource to provide value on that topic. I'm unavailable at that time, but I'm happy to provide some feedback in advance. We are prioritizing 1, 2, 3 this week, and we can focus on that task next month. I want this to be successful, so let's schedule some time for Monday to talk about expectations. Let's engage a vendor partner so I can prioritize supporting 1, 2, 3. I am fully committed to my existing workload and would love to talk about how it fits into our strategy for 2025 at the beginning of the year. So in that preparation, did you notice how many times I actually said no? Not many at all, if at all. And really, it's a way to set the strategy to reprioritize, to prioritize. And often it is yours to negotiate. You don't have to be in every meeting, do all of the work all of the time. So, what about how can we say no to friends, family, or just other organizations? Here's a couple of ways. I won't be able to attend because of a prior commitment, but please include me next time. I'm unavailable to support this initiative right now with my time, but I'm happy to support with a donation. Thank you so much for thinking of me, but I'm not able to give my full attention to this right now. I'd love for the opportunity to go to someone who can. Unfortunately, I can't help with this task right now. I don't want to discuss that topic right now, but I would love to tell you about XYZ. So whether it is an event, a task, or even a topic that you don't want to discuss because it's going to drain your energy or it's none of somebody else's business, you can tell them no. So what will your go-to response be when somebody asks you for something? Remember, no is still a complete sentence, and it can be as simple as that. And when somebody does tell you no, really listen and ask if that thing really does need to be done right now, or if it can be reprioritized to another time, like 2025. So this week, that is what I want you to do. I want you to say no more. I want you to say it more often. I want you to prioritize what you really want to do and to protect your time and to get to that year-end wind down sooner. Remember, your leadership belongs here. You belong in the C-suite. I want to thank you so much for listening to the You Belong in the C-Suite podcast. If you are enjoying this content, please remember to rate and review on Apple Podcasts. By leaving a review, you are helping others find this content. We will be featuring 5-star reviews on air in upcoming episodes. Editing and support for the podcast is done by S&E Podcast Management. To get more tips and tools to help you live a life guided by your values, go to thecatchgroup.com. Keep your boundaries and take care.